It's 5, and we're live.
Oh, is this thing on? I don't care. I want him to hear.
This is the Pregame Show, your early morning shot of sports on 95.7 The Game. Come on!
Ball knocked away. Picked up by Boston. Walsh will walk it across the timeline, and this one's over. Well, the defending champion Boston Celtics came to the Bay with a full squad, and the Warriors had to play a letter-perfect game to try to stay with the defending champs. They could not. The Warriors just shot the ball so poorly in the first half, and they ended up losing 125-85. Another tough loss for Golden State.
Tim Roy on the call right here on 95.7 The Game. Celtics 125. Golden State Warriors 85. And that is the final, as the Warriors are back at 500 overall, back at 500 at home. The defending champs look like the defending champs. No Draymond Green. A lot of problems. Stephen Curry, not a great game. Andrew Wiggins, not a great game. Is that a just, burn the film type of a game? I don't know if you're quitting post, maybe not. Yeah, we got some quitting post action. Trying to find a silver lining here. Rookie, 4 of 8, 9 points. All right. You try to church it up as best as you can sometimes. Sometimes a loss is just a bad loss. And, the problems that persist and emanate around this team right now, you don't want to get complacent and just be like, yeah, well, this is it. Yeah, this is it. Yeah. Warriors just aren't a good team. Well, I can't buy that if I'm a fan.
They're not very good.
No, they're not, Joe. They're not very good. They're average. They're mediocre. And that's worse. Because you're in this vortex of, hey, if we go on a little bit of a run, maybe, just maybe. And we've been doing this for years now with this team. 888-957-9570 is the number. 888-957-9570. Call or text. Both lines are open. You can also hit us up. We are streaming on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, powered by First NorCal Credit Union. I'm Joe Spadoni with you here for the next hour right here on 95.7 The Game, reacting to that Golden State Warriors debacle yesterday at Chase Center on MLK Day, on Inauguration Day, on National Championship Day, as the Ohio State Buckeyes take out the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Irish didn't go down like suckers. They made it a game late, but too little, too late in Atlanta, and Ohio State wins its first national championship since 2014. God, it felt like it was way earlier than that. Urban Meyer and co., right? Was that Zeke Elliott? They beat Oregon?
Cardale Jones.
Yeah. I remember thinking early in that game, as we take a quick pivot, I remember thinking early in that Ohio State-Oregon game, that Oregon, because I think they ran down the field so fast and scored, and I was like, oh, Oregon's going to boat race them. And then they ended up just getting boat raced themselves. And Ohio State also boat raced Oregon earlier in these college football playoffs, and thus concludes this iteration of the college football playoff for the first time. And yeah, sure, can there be some tweaks? Sure. Maybe no buys. Maybe they do that. But it was exciting. We got names like Scataboo that are now household names. We got instant classics. And I think that's a win for college football, because Ohio State and Notre Dame wouldn't have been in the normal iteration of the college football playoff of the last decade or plus, or however long it's been since it took over from the BCS. So congratulations to Ohio State. Tough loss for Notre Dame, as my dad would call it. But future's bright. Marcus Freeman, guy's so damn young. He's going to be there for a long time, if not pivoting to the NFL sometime soon. Speaking of the NFL, he was a name that potentially was linked to the Chicago Bears. That's been filled. Ben Johnson, come on down. That was quick. Ben Johnson, all that leaked media. Oh, he's infatuated by the Raiders and Tom Brady. No, he's not. know why he's not? Because they don't have a quarterback. Caleb Williams, he's a quarterback. He's going to be a damn good one. And I know that because he's going to have the tutelage of Ben Johnson now. So Bears get their guy. Looking like the Jets might get their guy in defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, or should I say former potentially, in Aaron Glenn. He's getting a second interview and sit down with them. So only leaves a few more openings. Let's see. If the Jets get Aaron Glenn, that would leave the Saints, the Jaguars, and the Raiders. Am I missing anyone there of those three? I think that's it. We'll see. Where do the Raiders pivot now? Where does Tom Brady pivot? They put all their eggs into that basket. You fired Tom Telesco after one season, after he had a hell of a draft, to be honest. He drafted 3 starters in the first 3 rounds. Brock Bowers, Jackson Powers-Johnson, and DJ Glaze, which is just an awesome name. I mean, DJ Glaze, come on. Move over, Jay Glazer. You ain't no DJ Glaze. I want some Krispy Kremes right now. I can go for some.
That just doesn't sound like a real name.
It is DJ Glaze.
No,
it's
that's
great.
that's his performance name.
No. I don't know what
he
it
goes
is.
on stage at the club in Miami.
I do want to see what is Delmar Glaze. He goes by DJ, so his middle name must be Joseph or something.
I mean, he's got to get free shows at Krispy Kreme, right?
Oh, come on. Got to. The pride of Maryland, by the way, DJ Glaze. He's a terrapin. Terp, right? That's what they call him, the Terps.
Correct.
Okay. They're Maryland.
A lot of big Maryland football fans out here.
Yeah, no, I think people are locked in. We got our guy Matty down at the Live 105. He's a West Virginia guy. Went there. We were just chopping it up about West Virginia. I guess they got a good basketball team this year. No more Huggy Bear. He's been gone a couple of years, but hey, they're doing wonders. 888-957-9570. Good morning to all of you just getting off work and ready for work. It's chilly out there. It is brisk. Drive safe. And again, if you want to talk to me, that's the number, 888-957-9570. You know who I need to talk to me? Steve Kerr. I mean, that was just, what do you say after a loss like that? Well, you tried.
I thought we played a good first quarter. I think late in the quarter we had 7 assists, no turnovers. We were getting a lot of good looks. We were competing defensively, but ball wasn't going in. I think we were 1 for 12 from 3 in that first quarter. So didn't feel like the right result for us the way we played in that quarter to go into the second quarter down 11. It felt like we had played better than that, and I think our guys lost a little confidence, and Boston obviously played a great game and made 23 and overwhelmed us from that point on.
Steph talked about after the game, and Steve Kerr alluded to it there, the confidence. That's the word I keep coming back to with this team. There's no confidence. There's no confidence between the players. There's no confidence in the coaching staff. There's no confidence in upper management, whether you're Mike Dunleavy, whether you're Joe Lacob. There's no confidence from the fan base right now. And if you are confident in this team still, I'd love to hear from you. I'm struggling to find where this team can find its confidence right now. Because this is a team historically in the Stephen Curry and Steve Kerr era gets its confidence from scoring the ball. And right now, they're doing anything but that. Yeah, it's great if you beat the Washington Wizards. Congratulations. They have 6 wins on the year. But it's going to be very difficult when you're scoring 101, 96. Yeah, you had that game against the Timberwolves last Wednesday. That was impressive. You got 116. Awesome. But you've been hovering around 500, and you've been hovering around scoring at or below the 100-point mark. And in today's NBA, and I'm going to keep hammering this, it's just not good enough. I don't care if you play good defense, because you're going to run into teams like the Boston Celtics that are just going to run you up and down the court, shoot those threes, and destroy you if they're hitting their three-pointers. That first iteration, that first go-around when they didn't have Jaylen Brown, they didn't have Kristaps Porzingis, they were not hitting their threes. And the Warriors won that game. This is what it looks like. That's what the Boston Celtics look like on most nights. That wasn't a fluke. Yeah, if Draymond Green's out there, does it help a little bit? Sure. I don't know how much. Is Draymond Green making a huge difference in yesterday's game? I doubt it.
Certainly a fun game with him.
Sure, always a fun game. Jason Tatum didn't even have a great game shooting-wise. He was 3 of 10 from beyond the arc. He had 9 boards. He had 7 assists. He was distributing it. He had 22 points. Kristaps, efficient, 6 of 13, 18 points for him. Drew Holiday, very efficient, 10 points. Jaylen Brown, he's the Warriors killer. He always has been. 8 of 14 for Jaylen, 17 points. It was just Double digit. Sam Hauser off the bench, 11 points. Peyton Pritchard, that guy. Is he the new Warriors killer? 9 assists off the bench? It's impressive. It's got to be demoralizing, though.
I don't even think of the season in those terms. We just, we kind of take it week by week. We've got Sacramento on Wednesday. We've got to flush this one down the toilet and get ready for Sac. We've been very competitive all year, and our guys have fought. But we've had a handful of these where, we just get blown out, and these are demoralizing. So most important thing to me is for our guys to forget this one, have a day off tomorrow, and then be ready to roll in Sacramento on Wednesday.
Oh, I was looking to see if I still had. Oh, I do. It's right here. I'm going to do what Steve Kerr just said. All right, we flushed it. It's gone. The turd has gone down the toilet.
Shout out
Steve
Flowing
Kerr.
Water.
Thank you. Flowing Water, Plumbing and Drain. We love them. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where this team goes. That's not what you want to hear at 5'11". You want to see Spadoni. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Can you help fix this team right now? No, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm not. I don't have the secret elixir. I'm not a snake oil salesman. I'm not going to, blowing smoke up your skirt, your pants. I don't know what you're wearing right now, your kilt. I'm not doing any of that. I don't know what the answer is for this team. I don't think it's through the trade, market. Maybe through free agency in the offseason. We'll see. Maybe someone becomes available, but this team isn't one piece. Shout out Luffy. It's not one piece away. It's not 2 pieces away. Maybe they're a couple pieces away. And that's just to contend for a title. But therein lies the problem, right? The expectations of this team. And what were the expectations of this team heading into the season? Honestly, I expected the team to kind of look like this. And they still can do what a lot of people thought they could do to start the season. That's be a playoff team. Not a championship contender, a playoff team. Can they be that? Sure. They still can be. And would that salvage the season for a lot of fans? Not a majority of them, I don't think. Because after that 12-3 start, the expectations shifted to, we can do this still. And Steph coming off the heater he was coming off of the last couple of games in the Paris Olympics. They were riding that Steph high. He was looking amazing. And now Steph is not looking great. He's looking old. He's looking like old players do, inconsistent. And when you hear him speak after the game, and we'll hear from his audio a little bit later, he's a guy that's searching. And he spoke on the confidence that if the guys don't see their shots going in, that bleeds to the other end of the floor. And that just can't happen. But I understand when you're losing the way you're losing and the ball, you don't see the ball going in the hoop, it's demoralizing. It's deflating. It's, why can't we score the damn ball? The whole point of this game is putting this circular ball into this little hoop, and we can't do it. And we've been trying to do it, and we've lost 21 freaking times trying to do it. And why does it look so damn easy for the other team? Well, because the other teams are more talented. Now, you're not going to accept that if you're the Golden State Warriors, and if you're Stephen Curry, and if you're, Andrew Wiggins and Gary Payton. Steph said he still thinks they could turn a corner. Does he believe that? I don't know. He said it. Does he believe it? I don't know. But he's a leader of the team, and sometimes you have to say things that even you don't believe, but for the sake of your teammates and your organization and your fan base, you have to get out in front of it and say, you know what? I still believe in this squad. I mean, Andrew Wiggins yesterday. Do you believe in that guy offensively at this moment? I don't. 1 of 11 from the floor. 1 of 11. Trace Jackson Davis was your most efficient scorer, and he attempted 3 shots for 5 points. He had 4 assists. Gary Payton was starting yesterday. He can't make a 3-pointer. Buddy Hield God, that feels like forever ago when he was lighting it up. He literally did all of his Buddy Hield magic within the first month, 2 months, whatever it was. That's all gone. Do you move off a guy like that at the trade deadline if you become a seller? Like, give me more of the young guys then. I like seeing Quentin Post in garbage time. We heard from Anthony Sayer last week, though, but he still feels like he's a couple, years away. So, 888-957-9570. What's your confidence level in this team right now? And have your expectations, what are your expectations? I guess I should ask. After a blowout like that, everything's on the table for me. I'll listen to anything. I don't have the answer in the magic elixir to fix this team. Do you? 888-957-9570. More from Steve Kerr.
I mean, the biggest thing for me is I want good shots. I want rhythm shots. I didn't feel like the ball moved side to side very well in the second quarter and felt like we got stuck on one side of the floor. So it's never about the number of threes we take. It's more the quality of the offense. We're not a team that gets layups or free throws. It's just not in our DNA. We have to shoot a lot of threes, and we will continue to do so. Nights like tonight, we don't go. It's a tough road.
We're not a team that gets layups and free throws. It's not in our DNA. Well, can that change? Can we, maybe the mindset needs to adjust of this squad. I'm not saying to scrap the entire offensive system that you've conducted around Stephen Curry. But you gotta change something up, right, Steve? Something's got to change. This can't keep going on. It is as simple as you just don't have the talent. Well, then if you don't have the talent, you got to go get some more of that. And to get more talent, you got to give up something. Or you got to tank. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's how you're going to get more talent. And that's the issue right now for me. The lack thereof. That's a championship lineup I saw yesterday. Jason Tatum, Kristaps Porzingis, Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown. That's a formidable starting lineup that can go up against anyone in the NBA. Golden State Warriors, Trace Jackson Davis, Andrew Wiggins, Stephen Curry, Dennis Schroeder, Gary Payton II. Come on, man. Come on. They were talking about it at halftime of the broadcast, too, on TNT. Kenny, the Jet Smith, on what the Warriors need to do. And comparing them to the Lakers.
I want to talk about the rebuild.
Which rebuild?
With Golden State. And they're in a similar situations what the Lakers are in, but much different in the same results. When you're rebuilding around LeBron James, and you say, hey, he's later in his years, he's maybe not the same player, but he's still a great player, or one of the top players in the league. LeBron James plays with the ball in his hand. So you have to build the team that actually fits in. So you're going to bring in older players. I think with Steph Curry, he actually plays without the ball a lot, and he's running off picks. So now you can bring in and say, we're going to do a young rebuild with young energy to get him shots easier because he's shooting more instead of beating people off the dribble. So the rebuild is different. They should go young through the draft, through trade, keep guys like Kuminga, not think about trading. Guys like Kuminga and his age, that group is where they need to be. Where the Lakers, they need to get older players at times to go with LeBron because LeBron handles the ball.
So it's a dilemma for both of these franchises right now, and that's, the Warriors and Lakers are very similar. They're not good enough. And it's hard to say when you have two top 10 players of all time. LeBron James and Stephen Curry. What do you mean to tell me this team isn't good enough? Well, Father Time's undefeated. People get old. It sucks. I was just, when they said Ohio State hadn't won since 2014, the national championship in football, I was like, Wasn't that long ago. I remember that game. Marcus Mariota. That was 11 years ago. And that was when the Warriors were about to go on their run and get their first title. It doesn't feel that long ago, but it is. And in 2 months' time, Stephen Curry's going to be 37 years old. Whew. Charles Barkley, alongside Kenny the Jet Smith on TNT, he thinks the Warriors should go for it.
It doesn't matter what they do unless they go out and get a superstar and try to rebuild. That's their only chance because Steph is old. I think they should try it because who's the only team we sure of in the West? If they made a big trade is what I said. Getting younger ain't gonna make them better.
I'm gonna dismantle to get young.
I see both sides. There's the Kenny the Jet Smith or the Charles Barkley. Which side are you picking? Dub Nation, are you going Kenny, going younger, or are you going Charles? You're going older and you're going for it. 888-957-9570. And what does going for it mean? Jimmy Butler? Is that going for it? It's going for something. I don't know if it's it. It's going for something. And I disagree with Charles. I do think there is levels in the West to this in a series because we get bogged down in individual games. But in a given series, like I'm still taking the Memphis Grizzlies, the Denver Nuggets, the Oklahoma City Thunder. Maybe not the Rockets. They're a little fugazi to me, but hey, they're 7-3 in their last 10. They're 28-14. Who am I to say it's all fugazi? But yeah, Clippers, Lakers, Mavericks, Kings, T-Wolves, Suns, right now, they're all the same team to me. And the Mavericks obviously missing Luka Doncic. Yeah. Kings, by the way, are 9-1. 9-1 in their last 10. Doug Christie era, baby. Woo! The Kings. It's impressive. They're going to be playing the Warriors tomorrow. Cannot wait for that game. I mean, right here on 95.7 The Game, baby. So where are we falling? Are we falling Kenny the Jet Smith or Charles Barkley from the text line? From the 239. The Warriors look more flat. I like that you call me that. The Warriors looked more flat than Joel Spadoni at your intramural pickup game at the Y getting smashed by the Celtics. I liked that. It's probably autocorrect, but I kind of like Joel Spadoni over Joe Spadoni. Appreciate you, 239. Yeah, I don't play at the Y. I play at, playgrounds these days with my 5-year-old son, and it's me in flip-flops and sweatshorts and a starter jacket trying to shoot. Yeah. I'm wicked out there, though. I cross up my 5-year-old son, break his ankles occasionally. That's about it. Won't be long before he's doing the same to me. God, I woke up this morning. I've never felt older, too. Speaking of age, and we're just going to use that theme today, just age and getting old. God, I had a sore lower back this morning, and I bent over, and I felt like it was locking up. I'm only 31, guys. And that's how I felt. 31! It should not be happening to me. I like to say I'm pretty in shape. I'm getting back into the gym this week. I was at a little bit of a winter hiatus there, the Christmas hiatus, as I call it, but I'm getting back after it. I had the sore lower back, though, after I bent over this morning. Just to change my pants. Oh. I felt Priest and Palo Alto's voice just in my ear.
He's too old.
Yeah. Can I have Priest narrate my life?
I can't stand to see greatness rot before my eyes.
I swear this guy could be in radio with that voice in these drops.
This fish is stinking from the head.
Oh, I love that guy. God, I love Priest and Palo. If you're listening, Priest, I don't think you're up this early. You're usually a Steiny and Goo caller, but 888-957-9570. I'd love to hear you, buddy. How you feeling about these dubs? I think Priest saw this all along. He's been saying that. He's been saying it.
The Warriors will be a boneyard.
He's been saying that for 2 years. And really, he hasn't been wrong. He's not been wrong. What's the answer for this team right now? 888-957-9570. We got a lot to get into still. One segment down, 2 more to go here on the pregame show. Stream us on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, all powered by First NorCal Credit Union. Also, if you have ever any connection issues, or if you're like not a great spot for if you're in your car, whatever, what have you, download the Odyssey app. It's awesome. It's free. It's amazing. It's going to be crystal clear on there. Download it and thousands of other stations. Have that app at the palm of your hand. It is easy. It is free. Did I mention it's free? It's free. All right. We're going to get into more of the national championship game because Ryan Day saved his job yesterday. In a championship game, he saved his job. And I'm interested to see right now what teams are truly championship or bust, because that's what it was for Ryan Day in his future in Ohio State. It felt like championship or bust for him. Who else is championship or bust right now in sports? We're going to get into that. 888-957-9570 as the pregame show, Joe Spadoni, rolls on 95.7 The Game.
You know, each new year beckons new beginnings, so now is a good time to consider upgrading your home's exterior and property. Golden State Lumber and Building Materials can satisfy your desire to add decking, pergolas, fencing, and other attractive features. Visit goldenstatelumber.com and
You're listening to the Pregame Show with Joe Spadoni on 95.7 The Game.
Thank you, Pods. Brandon Pregame. Hope to see him soon. Open a prayer. Kind of what we got for the Golden State Warriors as they lose 125-85, the final yesterday to the defending champs, Boston Celtics, who were in town on MLK Day. 2 o'clock start, and it felt like it because as soon as I turned up to go turn the game on, it was already over. Like, oh, well, this game's done. Time to get ready for another Irish team in the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. And they also were getting blown out at one point. They made it a game late. Looked like Ohio State took their foot off the gas a little bit, but the cream rises. It always does in sports. It does. And sooner or later, you get older. And you could do one or two things about it. You could pivot, go young, or go all in on the age. Kenny the Jet Smith, TNT. This was him yesterday, comparing the Warriors and Lakers and their dilemmas.
I want to talk about the rebuild.
Which rebuild?
With Golden State. And they're in a similar situations what the Lakers are in, but much different in the same results. When you're rebuilding around LeBron James and you say, hey, he's later in his years. He's maybe not the same player, but he's still a great player or one of the top players in the league. LeBron James plays with the ball in his hand. So you have to build the team that actually fits in. So you're going to bring in older players. I think with Steph Curry, he actually plays without the ball a lot and he's running off picks. So now you can bring in and say, we're going to do a young rebuild with young energy to get him shots easier because he's shooting more instead of beating people off the dribble. So the rebuild is different. They should go young through the draft, through trade, keep guys like Kuminga, not think about trading. Guys like Kuminga and his age, that group is where they need to be. Where the Lakers, they need to get older players at times to go with LeBron because LeBron handles the ball.
Interesting perspective on two different superstars and their style of play. It's a good point. LeBron has always wanted the older players, but at this stage in his career, he needs those young guys on his team. The Austin Reeves, who has carried him at times to a victory if Anthony Davis is out. But not all the time. And you're going to get great offense from Reeves, not great defense. Max Christie, a young player that can give, he has a little two-way game to him, but still very young, right? He's going to make some mistakes. And can you get through those growing pains? And right now we're seeing a lot of those growing pains with the Golden State Warriors. The problem is you're without your young guys. Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Pregame, your two prized possessions you don't want to move off of, they haven't been around. And yes, I do think we are sleeping on that fact a little bit that they're missing two of their young guys that have been spark plugs in the past for this team, especially Kuminga with the scoring this season, and Pregame to a greater extent last season, more so than this season. But again, they could sure use him right now in his youthful exuberance, absolutely. God, I can't get over the starting lineups yesterday compared to both teams. It was a joke. So you got Kenny Smith's perspective there. Here's Charles Barkley's again on TNT.
It doesn't matter what they do unless they go out and get a superstar and try to rebuild. That's their only chance because Steph is old. I think they should try it because who's the only team we sure of in the West? If they made a big trade is what I said. Getting younger ain't going to make them better.
I'm gonna dismantle to get young.
And again, the only team I'm sure about that is like a legit title contender right now is probably the OKC Thunder. But again, they have to get there first before I even give that to them. Their level of play, sure, but we'll see. Like the Nuggets, would I be shocked if the Nuggets went back? No, they looking up and down at some points this year, but the Nuggets have been there and they've won it. I'll give them that. Can the Dallas Mavericks get there again? I'm skeptical without Luka. They had a bad loss yesterday. I was watching that. I think we were all watching that game. It was just on in the studio for 9 o'clock start time in Charlotte. They lost to the Hornets. LaMelo Ball. Hey, first time I've actually watched a Charlotte Hornets game this year. I'm impressed. His brother is a rapper. We'll see. I might swerve in that corner, whoa. Hold on tight, cause I tweaking it, go. And I heard. That's when I knew the Detroit Lions were losing, though, was when LiAngelo Ball came out to perform at halftime. Was Eminem not in the building? Come on. I like the song. But come on. Oreo Cookie. He has some perspective on this. Oreo, who are you picking between the two? The two timelines, if you will. We going Kenny Smith or we going Charles Barkley? Good morning to you, sir.
Spadoni, what's happening, brother? Well, okay, so they both had good points. Kenny has a good point as far as playing off the ball with Steph Curry. But I got to go with old Chuck over here. We cannot go with the young rebuild. We have to go with established NBA stars. The reason why I'm saying we can't go young is because we've tried that already. And we tried that with a coach named Steve Kerr, where he has a tendency to not play the young guys. We had Wiseman. We had Poole. We had the younger guys wave already. So in order to get this going, if we want to go the younger route, we have to also get rid of the coach.
We want to move off Steve Kerr. For who?
Yes, I do. That's the thing. See, if we're going to go young, we have to go Steve Kerr. Right now, I can't tell you it doesn't matter because to a certain extent it does. But Kerr doesn't play young guys, so we have to go the veteran route. Okay,
fair enough. That's Oreo Cookie out in Oakland. 888-957-9570. You going all in on the youth, or are you trying to get a little bit older and say, you know what, let's go all in on Steph, Draymond? Is Wiggins going to be a part of that? I think he's kind of in that in between right now. What is he, 30, 29? He's still got a lot of good years left, I think. I said good years. I don't think great. I don't know if greatness and Andrew Wiggins right now are going to be, synonymous with each other. Can give you some great performances, but they're very few and far between these days, at least offensively. God, 1 of 11. It's just, can I get more from that, from the scoring aspect of an Andrew Wiggins? Please. Just, if I have to see Peyton Pritchard again, guy just makes shots. He's a good player. He's just one of those pesky guys that like every team needs. Where's that on the Warriors? Where's the Peyton Pritchard on the Warriors right now? It was Pods last year, it felt like at times. At times, as a rookie. Like Guy Santos, is it going to be him? I like Guy. 27 minutes off the bench yesterday, 3 of 8, 1 of 6. Hasn't shot it very well. Gives you energy. Great. That energy, like that card though, like that lasts only a certain amount of time. It's like, oh, I like what I see from the guy. He gives good energy. All right, a couple weeks later, all right, the guy can't make a shot. Right? So if he's hitting the shots, then it's great. Like, this is the thing when you go up against the defending champs or teams that are legit title contenders. It's a reality check. It's, Trace Jackson Davis, Andrew Wiggins, Steph Curry, Dennis Schroeder, Gary Payton, and you're going up against Thanos. Then you're seeing, we can hang for a little bit, and it's gone. Then they use their Infinity Stones, their entire bench, and they put you in timeout. The Warriors were put in timeout yesterday. The adults were in the room. And it sucks. Because the Warriors used to be the adults. They were the top dog. They were in charge. And it's hard for a fan base, and it's hard for any fan to wrap your head around the fact your team's getting older. What are you going to do about it? You're going to lean into it? Or you're going to go full youth movement? This is just a thing in life right now, too. It's on a grander scale. It's just any business, right? Adapt or die. And what was that, Charles Darwin? Here's more, Steve Kerr.
I don't even think of the season in those terms. We just, we kind of take it week by week. We've got Sacramento on Wednesday. We've got to flush this one down the toilet and get ready for Sac. We've been very competitive all year, and our guys have fought. But we've had a handful of these where, we just get blown out, and these are demoralizing. So most important thing to me is for our guys to forget this one, have a day off tomorrow, and then be ready to roll in Sacramento on Wednesday.
Will they be ready to roll? We'll see. Again, the Kings are 9-1 their last 10. It's It's going to be a great game tomorrow, and a little bit of a rivalry maybe brewing a little bit. We'll see. I don't consider it like the best rivalry for the Warriors, but maybe it could turn into one. 888-957-9570. Remember, Doug Christie, Steve Kerr, a little chippy. Not mad at that. I think maybe that's good for the Warriors. A little chippy. One more segment. 2 of them down. Bonte Hill, Joe Shasky, top of the hour. They had a couple guests today that you're going to be interested in. I'll reveal those on the other side. Plus more of your calls, more of your texts. And the championship or bust teams right now. Let's start taking a little. Let's go through some of the leagues and say who they are after Ohio State and Ryan Day. And Ryan Day saved his job in a championship or bust type of season after losing to Michigan for the 4th straight time. Doesn't matter. I think if you're an Ohio State fan, you'll take that Michigan L if that means a national championship gladly, as the Buckeyes defeated the Fighting Irish 34-23 the final. And we'll wrap it up on the other side of 95.7 The Game.
Where can you kick off the new year with big savings on gig speed? Only with Xfinity, now through January 30th. Get gig internet at home for $25 a month for 1 year when you add an unlimited mobile line, which connects you to gig speed Wi-Fi on the
Dub Nation, it's the voice of the Warriors, Tim Roy. You're listening to the pregame show with Joe Spadoni on 95.7 The Game.
Oh, thank you, Timmy. The great Tim Roy. I heard his calls yesterday. Actually, you know what? It separates the men from the boys. As far as broadcasting goes, when you got a blowout, whether that's in baseball, whether that's in football, but on the radio side especially, when you're dealing with a blowout, I know if I got a high-quality broadcaster on my hands or not. And we are lucky here at 95.7 The Game to have the great Tim Roy, because there's been some blowouts this year, and him and Tom Tolbert, I could just leave my radio on and they could just be telling stories and they bounce off each other so well, like a tennis match. As I'm watching Novak Djokovic up 2-1 in the quarterfinals of the Australian Open over Carlos Alcaraz. Wow. Hey. Maybe we do lean into Charles Barkley and go all in on the old guys. Old guys aren't dead yet. The Joker, still alive, baby. He's the greatest tennis player ever. Greatest tennis player ever, Novak Djokovic. People aren't going to want to hear that. They're going to want to go to Nadal. I'm a big Federer guy. I love Federer. You know, if you go to the women's side, Serena Williams, Steffi Graf, Chris Everett. But it's Novak Djokovic. It is. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. When it's all said and done. And he's got Andy Murray as his coach now. So, a little tennis sidetrack for you. Why not? 888-957-9570. We got about 10 minutes. 10 minutes left in this segment before handing it off to Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. They got the great Brian Baldinger joining them at 7:30. Baldy's breakdowns. Break down all the playoff action, all the different coaching hires, what the Niners need to do when it comes to their coaching hires. Is pivoting to Nick Sorensen as their special teams coach after getting demoted from defensive coordinator. Is that a good move? Who should they target as defensive coordinator? As some of the other teams are already making their hires that had defensive coordinator positions open. The Bengals are expected to pursue Al Golden, former head coach, obviously, in the college football ranks, and defensive coordinator for the Fighting Irish. And they went down fighting. So, potentially Al Golden in Cincinnati, Jeff Ulbrich already with the Atlanta Falcons, former interim head coach of the New York Jets last season. Where do the Niners go? Is it Robert Saleh or bust? We'll see. We shall see. From the text line at 888-957-9570, 510, the answer is getting 2 rim protecting bigs from overseas. No one we can afford to trade. There's no one we can afford to trade for. It's always a mixed bag when I'm trying to read off the text line. It's always it's not a fun game, as Draymond would say. Because you guys are texting in. So you guys have your T9, you have your predictive text, whatever it is. Does T9 still a thing? Yeah, I just aged myself a little bit there. But yeah, go get 2 bigs from Europe. Are we going to get Pau Gasol or are we going to get Kristaps Porzingis? I don't think so. It sounds easy, but it's not. And the fact of the matter is, that might have worked 20 years ago. The Europeans are getting drafted all first, second, third overall now. We're living in the European era, baby, in the NBA. Jokic, Doncic, whatever itches, Wembanyama. They're everywhere, man. The sport is global. So, Antetokounmpo, Giannis, these guys are everywhere. So, yeah, you're not going to sneak up anybody and go to the Euros and getting some 7-footer. You got a 7-footer off the bench yesterday, Quentin Post. Different game, I know. Could have had a 7-footer in the past summer, Larry Markkinen. Do you revisit that well in the summertime? Maybe. We'll see. 888-957-9570.
Yeah, we'll see. We're not there yet.
Thanks, Zach.
We'll see.
I love that drop. All right. Ryan Day, head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, was absolutely eviscerated earlier this season after Ohio State's loss to Michigan. Didn't know what was happening. There was a fight after the game. You know, he literally has a screenshot saying what happened because he just didn't have a feel or pulse for his team after they got upset. And, you know, they had 2 losses on the season, which is okay. You can lose at Ohio State. You just don't lose to Michigan. 1 loss here is not going to kill you, especially in a 12-team playoff. But you had lost to Oregon already on October 12th. And you lose to Michigan on November 30th. And they were out for blood in Ohio State. They were ready to pounce and fire this guy, Ryan Day, on the spot. They get into the playoffs. They destroy Tennessee. They destroy Oregon. They handle Texas. And they handle Notre Dame. And now, Ryan Day could do no wrong. Hey, I always believed in you, buddy. You were the guy. Winning cures all. It really does. And listen, there's certain brands and certain programs where losing is not tolerated. Ohio State, for my entire lifetime, has been one of those. Whether it's Tressel with the sweater vest, whether it's Urban Meyer, and now with Ryan Day. All 3 of those coaches, national champions in this century. Losing won't be tolerated at certain places. Ohio State's one of them. But they'll, again, like I said last second, they will gladly take an L to Michigan. It hurts, but I will take that yearly if it means every year I'm winning a national championship or I'm in the conversation. Who cares? It's like, you know, when the Warriors were at their game, but they were losing to the Lakers, and the Lakers weren't a very good team, but something about the Lakers and Steph playing in LA against the Lakers, just something there. But who cares? It's great. They have their little rinky-dinky regular season win. Congratulations, Lakers. Yeah, we're going to win championships. It's the same thing. So, you know, shout out to Ryan Day, because the guy was getting absolutely crushed and torched, and he had a very low moment. And, you know, I hope he learned from it. I think he did, because the team responded to him and to the coach. And if you heard the players after the game, they were all about their guy, Ryan Day. And Jack Sawyer, guy's probably going to go in the first round. We'll see. Defensive end, came back for his senior year, wanted to win a title with him, and they did just that. The cream rises in college football. It does. The talent, like, you could get situations in national championship games where, you know, the least talented team, or the less talented team, I should say, you know, they could win. We saw it with the 07 Patriots, one of the greatest teams, if not the greatest team of all time, losing to the New York bleeping Giants. And there was a lot of talent on those Giants teams, but they weren't a better team than the Patriots. But on that day, they were. And the rest is history. They did it twice, too. Twice. Now, maybe the second time it was more evenly matched, but for the first time, hey. But in college, it rarely happens. I'm trying to think of the last, like, big-time upset. Was it Texas USC? Vince Young? Pete Carroll, baby, like, is that it? I'm trying to think. 888-957-9570. Last time a big major college upset occurred. As Novak Djokovic just defeated Carlos Alcaraz. Wow. I'm paying attention. Don't say I'm not. I'm locked in. We're all in sports here. That's a huge upset. And we're talking about age, and we're talking about age being a factor. You know what? Maybe Steph needs to watch some Novak and what he's doing at the age of 37 and defeating a young pup. How old is Alcaraz? Like 23, 24? Like, you can win still. It's not over for the old guys. Not quite yet. Bonte knows. That's a huge win for Novak Djokovic. He's nodding his head. He's rocking his SF State zip up right there. That's nice. I'm on one of those. Go Gators. As we're talking college sports, though, and college athletics and programs and Ohio State football, and, you know, that championship or bust, there's only a few teams each and every year that has those. I don't think the Warriors are at that level yet. Now, for Joe Lacob, like, he's going to want that. He's going to want that. But the expectations nationally, I don't think are there yet for that squad. They'd have to do it for multiple decades, right? Like, the Celtics and Lakers, that's baked in. Because multiple decades built into it. That if they don't win a championship, it's kind of like, what are we doing here? Or if they're not trying to compete for one. Now, the Celtics took their lumps the last decade, absolutely. Brought in Brad Stevens. They drafted well. They got Tatum. They got Brown. And a savvy move, actually, from Brad Stevens was, moving over to the front office and making some great selections. And we all were wondering when that happened, like, what? Huh? He's going to be like the GM now? President? Brad Stevens, the guy that took Butler to 2 national championship games and took the Celtics to the brink of the NBA Finals? Like, that guy? Yeah, and it worked out. Bring in Ime Udoka. We know what happened there, but he did get to a Finals. Joe Mazzulla takes over, and the rest is history. They won a title. But they got that mentality back. How do the Warriors get their mentality back? It's a great question. It's a great question for Bonte Hill and Joe Shasky. He'll take over right now on 95.7 The Game. Have a good morning, everybody.
You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KG.